So here's the video that I told you I'd post. Sorry I didn't get that yesterday. I forgot my iPad to take it home so I could post it yesterday, but here it is, just as promised. So this is problem number 6. I don't think we went over it in class, so let's go over it right now. Problem number 6. So just like when we were multiplying things that looked like 3x plus 5, I put that too close to the edge, let's slide it over a little bit. 3x plus 5 times 2x minus 4. This is what you did last year. You multiply each with each, or FOIL, first, outside, inside, last. We're going to do that same thing but with square roots. So let's look over here at the square root one. We're going to multiply the first of these. So that's going to be negative 3 square root 5 times 5 square root 5. And then I'm going to multiply the second one, which is, so I'm going to have a minus 3 square root 5 times 4. And then I'm going to do the next ones, the insides. And that's going to be negative 5 times 5 square root 5. And then the last ones, negative 5 times 4, which is 20. And so with each of these, I can multiply the numbers that are on the outside of the square root together, and multiply the numbers that are on the inside of the square root together. So let's multiply the negative 3 and 5. It gives us negative 15. Write the 5 first for some reason. And in the insides, 5 times 5 gives us 25. And then over here, I have the negative 3 and 4 that I can multiply together. So I subtract 12. And then since I have nothing to multiply by the 5 in this part of it, I just leave the 5 to the square root. Then I subtract off. I have 5 times 5, which gives us 25. Square root 5 minus 20. And you may have noticed right here that this doesn't match anything that we have on the paper, on the multiple choice test. So we have to simplify this a little bit. You'll notice most of the questions, especially those in the test, you have some sort of simplification that you have to do. And let's start off by combining any like terms that we see. That might be a good place to start. And so we have like terms here with the 12 square root 5 and the 25 square root 5. And so I have a negative 15 square root 25. Let's undo that. Let's not pull that down yet. So combining these two like terms, we have negative 12 minus 25 gives us negative 37 square root 5. And again, if you're struggling with this idea of this combining like terms with the square root of 5, think of it just like an x. So if you have a negative 12x minus 25x, it would be negative 37x. And then you just replace the x with the square root of 5. So on this side over here, the other side, right there, we can simplify the square root of 25. And we know that the square root of 25 is just 5. So this is the same thing as negative 15 times 5. Or this could be rewritten just as, let's see, 15 times 5 is 75. So negative 75. So I have negative 75. I have minus 37 square root 5, which I can't combine these because this one doesn't have a square root. And then I have my subtract 20 still. And this still isn't anything that we have on the paper. None of the answers match this. But we notice that we can combine the 20 the negative 20, and the negative 75 now. So we're going to have negative 37 square root 5, and then 75 minus negative 75 minus 20 is negative 95. And that matches one of our answers. It's letter C. So that would be it. Key thing to remember on this one was remembering to combine, first off, to do the FOIL at the start, and then after that to combine like terms like we did here, and to simplify like we did here, and then combining like terms again after we simplified. So let's look at the next one. This one asks us to rewrite this as write each expression in radical form. So rewrite this in radical form. And on the test, we're going to want to do, there are going to be 3 different problems testing similar things to this. And they're just testing this basic definition, where if you have some x in here, and you have an a right there and a b right there, this is the bth root of x to the a is how you read that. It's the same thing as if you say x to the a over b. So looking over here, our a is 3, our b is 2, so we just rewrite it in this form. So we have x on the inside of the radical, and then the 3 is going to stay as the exponent, and the 2 goes right there. We could also write this like this, where we would say this is 2x in parentheses to the third. So this 3 right here, this guy, can come inside and outside, just like that. It's the same thing as if I put on the inside as if I put on the outside. So that's it. It's just that simple. Okay, so how about this one? Well, this one is already in the radical form, which is this form right here. This form is our radical form, and we're supposed to turn this form into this. So what we do is rewrite this as, let's see, write it as 5n, and then our exponent is going to be 7 over 4. Slide that down so it's easier to see it. So the 7 goes on the top, the 4 goes on the bottom of the fraction, and that's it. Just like that, which was D. Yeah, don't worry about complicating any more than that. This is probably the easiest ones to get right in the test. Okay, number 4, or the 4th one that we're doing today. This is number 5 on the test that we took in class, the little quiz. Not a test, it was a quiz. So here, it asks us to simplify this. So we are going to simplify this guy. And we learned in class is that we can do a factor tree to help simplify it. So I'm going to break this up into 5 and 10, and then break it up into 5 and 2. And I could circle pairs, like the 2 5s, and so this will pull out a 5. Whoops, sorry about that. This will pull out a 5, and then I'm left with a 2 still on the inside of the square root. And then the x cubed, again, I'm just looking for pairs on it. So I have 3 x's here. Circle 2, and one of them comes out. So it gives us the x on the outside. I put that 5 too close. Let's slide it over just a little bit. So the x on the outside, and I'm still left with an x, so the other x stays on the inside. Just like that. And so, if you're not sure what 50 breaks up into, this is where you just kind of put numbers into your calculator, and you're like, okay, 50, and you try dividing it by 2. and see if that works. And then if it doesn't work, you do 50, you divide by 3, then 50, and divide by 4. Until you get to about 10 or 20. If you get up to half of the value of this number, then you know that it's a prime number, meaning there's no divisors of it. So in the test, if you're not sure what the number is, what two numbers give you 50 or whatever gives you that number, try just dividing it by some numbers. By 2, and then 3, and then 4, and then 5, and then 6, and then 7, etc. Until you can find something that divides it. And then keep doing that until you get down to its lowest factors. Okay, last one for this video. Let's do, what's a fun color? Gray. Just joking, gray is not fun. But we're going to do gray anyway. So, on this one, we're subtracting two polynomials. We have this one, and then we subtract off this guy. So we just take, and since there's nothing in front of the first polynomial, that's the second, and since there's nothing in front of it out here, I can just drop off the parentheses right off at the start. Because I have a negative in front of this one, I have to distribute it through, like that. So it flips the signs of each of these things. So 4r to the fourth becomes negative 4r to the fourth. The plus 3 becomes subtract 3, and the plus r squared becomes subtract r squared. And now I'm just looking to combine terms, because this doesn't match with any of my answers. So what are my like terms? Well, one of the like terms is the 7r squared combined with this r squared, because they both have, sorry, I'm just deleting something, because they both have r squared in it. I can't combine it with the r to the fourth because they don't have the same exponent. So I have a negative 7r squared and a negative r squared. I guess I can think about there's a 1 there. That'll make it a little easier. Negative 7 and negative 1 becomes negative 8r squared. And then I'm left with these other values right here. I have the negative 3 and the 6 that are both like terms as well. So 6 minus 3 is positive 3. And then whatever is left over just comes down. Don't have anything to combine 4r to the fourth with. And so that is our most simplified form. I can't combine these two because they do not have common exponents. We have a 4 and a 2. So this answer matches with A. So there you go. That's the end of this YouTube video. Hopefully it's helpful as you are getting ready for the test tomorrow.